Hey, sweetie, I just wanted to ask if you remembered that it was your parents' anniversary today. I didn't know if you wanted to do something for them, maybe a meal somewhere nice.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I'd completely forgotten that it was that time of year. Yeah, a meal somewhere nice sounds good. Could you set it up with my mom? I'm a bit busy at the moment, so I don't have time to message her and sort out all the details. Oh,
Really? Don't you have, 5 minutes to talk to her?
come on, Nancy, don't start again, please. I'm very busy and I don't have the time to talk to my mom for over half an hour. You need to get over this idea that she's trying to bully you or whatever. My mom's a lovely woman and she can never do anything like that. She's probably just a bit shy, so she comes across like she's being condescending or rude or something when in reality she just doesn't know how to speak to you, okay? So just suck it up and talk to her. You'll see that you're just being ridiculous.
I really don't think that she's being shy, Victor. Your mom simply doesn't like me. That's all there is to it. I have tried everything that I can to get on her good side. I've been polite, helpful, and cheerful. I've never been rude to her or tried to undermine her, unlike her, and yet no matter what I do, Mary simply doesn't like me. There's literally nothing else that I can do. Every time I talk to her, she'll be completely horrible to me if no one is around. I honestly just think that you should talk to her and then everything will go smoothly.
Look, I'm not gonna entertain this ridiculous idea that my mom hates you. I've got stuff to do, so you need to make the call. I'm not gonna say it again. Now, I need to get back to work. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
See ya. Hi, Mary. I just wanted to say happy anniversary. I know you and John have been together for quite a while now, and it's lovely to see that you're still going strong all these years later. I hope me and Victor can be just as strong as you two.
Oh, it's you. Yes, well, thank you. Although, I don't see what's so remarkable about it. If you young adults actually bothered to talk to one another and work to solve problems, there would be far less divorces in the world. I'm guessing you're one of these women who think that if they don't get their way, that it's okay to get a divorce?
Ah, I believe that if it is needed, then a divorce can sometimes be the best option for couples. Although it's always a last resort, as no one wants to separate from their partner if it can be helped.
Uh-huh. Although, in all honesty, my Victor would be much better off divorced from you. After all, you're not really a good wife, are you?
Yes, well, good job that we both love each other very much then, isn't it? Anyway, I've just messaged to ask if you would like me to set something up for tonight, for you and John. I asked Victor earlier and he thought a nice meal somewhere might be a good way to spend the evening, if you'd like to. I just wanted to know if there was somewhere in particular that you'd like to go, so that I can book an appropriate table.
Oh, joy. So I get to spend my anniversary evening with you? I honestly couldn't think of anything worse, to be honest. I mean, why not just lock me in a box full of spiders? That would be much more preferable than having to spend an evening with you and listening to you droll on and on about boring things.
Look, Mary, there's no need to be horrible. I wouldn't be the only one there. Your husband and Victor would be there too. Also, if you wanted to, you could invite other people. Honestly, we could actually just avoid each other all night if that's what you wanted to do. There's actually no reason for us to interact at all, apart from maybe saying hello and goodbye. I just think Victor would like to spend the evening celebrating his mom and dad's marriage with you. Okay?
Fine, but I'm doing it for my son and my husband. Don't think I actually want to spend any time with you.
Fine. So, how many people do I need to book this table for, and where am I booking it?
Book it for the Watermill Inn for 7 p.m. tonight and book it for 8. I'm going to invite my sister and her partner, and John might want to invite his brother and his wife.
Okay then, I'll get that all booked up.
Oh, and you will be paying for it all, won't you?
Pardon?
You heard me. You're going to pay for this meal, right?
Well, I mean, I'm sure me and Victor can cover you and John as well as our own meals. I'm pretty sure that Victor would be more than happy to do that as a present to you too. But there's no way that we could afford 4 more meals on top of that. It would simply be too expensive.
Well, that's not any good. If you're taking us out for a meal, then you need to pay for it. I never asked you to do this. You thought of this all yourself, so you need to fund it. You can't just pay for yourself and mine and John's meals and leave out the others. That would be incredibly rude. I mean, do you want it to look like I'm snubbing them?
No, of course not. I don't want your sister and brother-in-law to think that you're purposely being rude to them. But the fact is that Victor and I simply couldn't afford to pay for 8 people's meals. I mean, if each person's meal equals roughly $40, And that would be $300 on one meal. That's simply far too much money for us to be able to afford.
It's really not so bad. You're just being cheap.
I'm really not, Mary. But in case you've forgotten, I'm currently between jobs, so Victor and I don't have a lot of money at the moment.
Oh, yes. I had forgotten that you decided to quit your job just so that you could leech off of my son. How's that going for you? Are you happy that you're being nothing but a drain on my son's life and resources?
I didn't just quit my job, Mary. It's simply finished. It wasn't my fault that it went out of business, and that because of that I lost my job. It's not like I've been sitting about and twiddling my thumbs. I've actually started a new college course which will help me progress my skills and allow me to apply for higher paying jobs. It's also in a career that I find incredibly interesting. So I am actually going to enjoy my job for a change.
I honestly can't say that I care at all. I mean, you can try and spin it how you want, but the fact of the matter is that you are nothing but a poor loser who got fired because she was no good at her job. As well as that, you sound like a child when you say that you want to do a job that you'll actually enjoy. No one enjoys their job. It's simply work, a way to earn money. To actually try and get a job that you enjoy is something a child would say. Although I can't exactly say that I'm surprised by what you're saying. You're not exactly the brightest person I've ever met.
Look, Mary, I've tried to be kind and polite and civil to you, but you clearly don't want to be the same way with me. So I'm going to tell you this now, and I'm going to be honest. I don't like the way that you talk to me. You treat me as if I'm stupid, and you are so horrible to me when I have done absolutely nothing to you. I'm sick and tired of trying to be nice to you when you so clearly don't want to reciprocate the gesture. So from now on, I'm just not going to bother. If you want to be a horrible and unnecessarily vitriolic woman, then fine. But I'm not going to let you bring me down to your level. I'll be polite and civil with you tonight, for Victor's sake. But after that, I'm not going to bother with you at all. And that includes if and when me and Victor have children.
What do you mean? Are you going to keep my grandchildren from me?
No, of course not. I'm not going to go out of my way to bring them to you. If you want to see them, then either Victor will have to take them to see you, or you'll have to come to my house, where you'll have to respect my rules.
But that's not fair.
It is more than fair.
However, I'm not going to get into this with you right now. Instead, I'm going to book the restaurant and hope that this evening will be over and done with quickly.
Just you wait. My son is going to hear about how you've treated me today, and then you'll be sorry. He won't let you get away with talking to me like that. I am his mother, and if you have any children, their grandmother. I have every right to see them whenever I want, and I'm allowed to teach them whatever I want to, as I am the oldest and therefore wisest person they will know.
Well, you're definitely old, that's for sure. I wouldn't say that you were wise, though.
Why, how dare you?
Look, Mary, I'm not going over this with you again. Tonight will be the last night we ever have to deal with one another again. Unless it's for something really important. I don't want to have to deal with you at all in my day-to-day life.
Well, that makes two of us at least. But if you think that I'm not going to say anything to Victor, you're completely wrong. He's going to know exactly what kind of a horrible woman you are. God, I told him not to marry you. I said that he was too good for you, and he still did it anyway. Guess he thought he was doing you a favor and was being charitable or something. I mean, no one would ever want to be with you otherwise, unless they did it out of pity.
If you were so against him marrying me, why did he go through with it then? Is it because he actually loves me despite what you say?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. He married you for your money.
Huh?
Yeah, he said that you earned a decent wage at the time and that he was going to marry you so that you could pay for the rent and the bills and stuff whilst he spent his money how he wanted to. But now that you're out of work, he's the one who's been stuck working a job he hates just so he doesn't wind up on the streets. Honestly, you need to take better care of your husband, Nancy. My son deserves much more than what you're currently offering him.
Well, I think I'll be having a little word with Victor about all of this. For now, I'm going to go. I will see you later tonight, Mary, and that will hopefully be the last time for a while that I will see you.
Likewise.
Nancy, we clearly need to talk. The way you've acted tonight is simply not okay. You can't just storm out of a restaurant like that. You made me look like a complete idiot.
I'm the one who's acted horribly? Were you at the same table I was? Your mom was the epitome of vile. She was laying into me and bullying me so much that I actually almost cried.
Oh, you're overreacting. Just because she might have said a few things that you didn't like the sound of, doesn't mean that she was being horrible. You can't just handle being told the truth, that's all.
The truth? You think it's true then? That I'm a horrible wife who can never do anything right and who would be better off gone?
Well,
Nice. Thanks for that, Victor. I'm only your wife.
then, well, I'm tired of sugarcoating it for you.
Sugarcoating what?
Well, I'm tired of you. You're not a good wife, and I'm sick of funding everything for you. I mean, honestly, you've been out of work for ages now, and I'm tired of having to pay for everything. I have no money to buy things for myself anymore.
Well, that's just kind of what being in a relationship entails. We'll have to be there for one another and look after each other when we need to. I mean, I looked after you when you were out of work. I paid for everything you wanted, along with the bills and the rent on the house. I think you can help out a little bit at the minute.
Well, I don't care what you think. I don't want to be spending all my money on boring things, so I'm not going to.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to bother spending any more money on you and whatever you want. I'm just going to go and have fun doing what I want.
But you can't do that. We have bills to pay and stuff.
Nope, you have bills to pay. I have some brand new shoes to go and buy.
Why are you being so obstinate? I thought we were in this together.
Well, you thought wrong. My mom's hoping you'll become the perfect wife, but you're far from it. It was hilarious to hear her go off on you.
Right. I've had enough. Leave my house immediately.
Huh?
You want to go off and tell me that I'm not a good wife? Well then fine. I'm done being your wife then.
Done being my wife?
Yep. I was waiting to see how you would treat me. What with how your mom was acting towards me as well. I wanted to see if you would back me up and stop your mom from being such a bully, but instead, you decided to be vile to me as well. Not to mention that I also know all about your girlfriend.
My... What? What are you on about?
Oh, you know, Clara? The woman you've been cheating on me with? That's who I'm on about.
How did you...
Your mom told me. During one of her rants where she was belittling me again, she let slip that you've been seeing someone else behind my back, saying that she can't wait for this other woman to become her daughter-in-law instead of me. So, I decided to look into it, and she was telling the truth. I've just been waiting to see if you would actually man up and tell me yourself. I guess I was hoping too much from you there.
Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't want to be with you anymore anyway.
Uh-huh, whatever. However, because I am the one whose name is on the house lease, I'm the one who gets to decide who lives in it and who doesn't. And I really don't want you living with me anymore. You can go and stay with your new girlfriend. But the house is mine. I'll also send the divorce papers over to you within the next couple of days, so make sure you sign them quickly.
Hang on.
Also, you can tell your mom that I am so glad that I will never have to deal with her again. I'm finally free of her criticism, and I seriously couldn't be happier.
But
What?
you're not supposed to be happy. Plus, you can't just kick me out of the house. I have nowhere else to go. I can't move in with Clara.
Well, that's your problem now, isn't it? I'm sure your mom would love it if you moved back in with her, so why don't you do that?
I don't want to live with my mom.
Well, looks like you're out of options then. Oh well. Good luck, Victor. But I'm going to go and live my life free of you and your bullying and toxic mother. And I seriously can't wait for it. Bye. After telling Victor off and exposing him for the horrible man that he is, I went ahead and gave him the divorce papers. He tried to argue that the house should be his, along with half of my monthly income. However, the judge ruled in my favor. He said that because Victor was the one who cheated, he should be the one to pay compensation to me for emotional damages. I mean, I wasn't too broken up about it, but I am happy for the extra little bit of money. Since then, Victor and Clara broke up, and he has had to stay with his parents whilst he tries to save up for a house. Can't say I envy him there. As for me, I found a job which is perfect for me. After graduating college, I was able to get a graduate job at an archaeologist firm, and since then, I've worked my way up the ranks a little bit so that I'm earning a decent amount of money. Whilst I might have lost my marriage, it wasn't really one worth mourning considering how he treated me. So I'm more than happy to go out into the world and find someone who is going to treat me right and like how I deserve.
Hey, sweetie, I've got a bit of a favor to ask you.
Hey, honey. Sure. What's up?
Well, you know that my dad passed away a couple months ago, right?
Yeah?
Well, my mom hasn't been coping with his death too good, living on her own and everything, so I thought that maybe she would be better off living with us, at least for a little while anyway.
Oh, Well, I don't know. I feel sorry for your mom, don't get me wrong, and I don't want her to feel lonely, but having her live with us is quite a big thing. We would lose all of our privacy, and we wouldn't be able to do what we want when we want to anymore. You know? Maybe we can see if there's another way, like maybe she could sell her house and we could find her an apartment or something nearby, so that she could come around whenever she wanted, but so that we can still have our space as well. What do you think?
Oh, well, I think that she might already have moved in.
What?
Yeah, I kind of told her that she could move in already. She's in the spare bedroom.
Why would you do that? You didn't even ask me before you went ahead and told her that she could move in? Now what am I supposed to do? I haven't even had any chance to get the house ready.
She doesn't care about the state of the house. She's just happy to not be alone. Please, just give this a chance. For me?
Okay, for you I will try.
Thank you. Okay then, I guess I'll see you after work.
I'll see you after work. Love you.
Oh, this house is such a mess. How do you expect me to live in such a pigsty? Huh, Sophie? I'm living here now too, so you can't just leave it a dump like this. Got it? Honestly, I don't know why you think it's okay to just leave it in such a mess. Have some pride, will you?
Oh, hi Delilah. I'm sorry about the mess. I didn't know you were coming to stay with us, and so I haven't had a chance to tidy up a little bit.
Well, that's not my fault. There's dirty dishes everywhere in the kitchen. Not to mention that the surfaces are covered in crumbs and food splodges. Besides, you shouldn't be leaving the place like this regardless of whether I'm here or not. How do you expect my son to be able to live in a house like this? You are supposed to be a wife, so do your wifely duties and make sure that the house is clean. My son deserves at least that much.
It's really not that bad, Delilah. There's a few dishes from breakfast that I wasn't able to get around to cleaning yet, as I had to rush to get to work. And maybe there's a little bit of laundry about, but when I get back from work, I'll tidy it away.
Well, I don't want to be living in a dump. You need to come back now and clean the place.
I can't do that right now, Delilah, as I'm at work. I can't just drop what I'm doing and rush home to clean just because you want me to.
Oh, then what am I supposed to do? It's much too dirty and messy for me to live happily here. I can't stand it at all.
Well, if it's truly bothering you that much, why don't you clean up the mess? Or you could even go out until I get home from work, or maybe just go to your room and sleep or something.
You seriously just suggest that I clean up your mess? How lazy are you? I've only just moved in, and already you're trying to foister all of your household chores onto me. What? Is that what I have to do for the honor of living in your horrible, messy house? Do all of the chores?
No, Delilah, that's not what I was saying at all. I'm not making you do any chores. I just meant that if the mess was bothering you, you don't have to put up with it, okay? But I was by no means demanding that you clean the house. I can do it when I get back from work.
Well, I guess I'll just have to live in this filth until you deem it important enough to clean then, shall I?
Sure, Delilah. That's what you'll have to do. I need to go now. I have work.
I honestly have no clue what my son sees in you. You don't even make a good housewife. You do none of the chores, clearly, and I bet you don't look after Joe properly. He probably has to do all the chores himself. It wouldn't surprise me if he even has to cook for himself too.
Yes, I do, Delilah. I try my hardest to make sure that the house is in order, even though I also have to work. I'm the one who is always cooking the dinner, cleaning the house, and doing whatever other chores there are. Joe doesn't help out at all.
Not true. My Joe's perfect. He probably helps out when he needs to. He does more work than you, both in the house and at his job.
Okay, Delilah, that's just entirely not true at all. But I'm not going to argue with you about this again, especially not right now when I'm at work. So if you continue to message me, I'm sorry, but I just won't answer. I have very important things to do right now, and I can't be distracted from them by nonsense.
Oh, so suddenly anything I find a problem is just nonsense? How rude of you.
Look, I didn't mean it like that, but I really don't have time to talk anymore. We can sort this all out later. Goodbye, Delilah.
Sophie, we need to talk.
Joe, what's wrong?
How dare you talk to my mother the way you did? She didn't do anything to deserve your rude and abrupt behavior.
What? What are you on about?
You can't play dumb with me. She told me all about your conversation with her earlier. She told me that she messaged you simply to ask if you were going to do any cleaning when you got home, as the house was a bit messy, and she wanted to know whether she should clean it or leave it to you. She didn't want to do anything wrong or put anything where it didn't belong. But then you exploded on her, telling her that it was none of her business and that you were too busy to do any cleaning, that if she wanted the house to be clean, then she would have to do it herself. She's literally only just moved in and you're trying to make her the maid? That's my mother.
Okay, none of that happened. I mean, yes, she did message me this afternoon, but it wasn't to ask about if she could clean the house. Instead, she began spewing a barrage of horrible comments at me, telling me that I wasn't good enough for you and that I wasn't a proper wife, as I wasn't doing all of the chores at home. She even demanded that I leave my work and go home just so I could clean the house for her. She was really vile to me, Joe, considering it is our house that she has moved into.
I doubt that.
What?
I doubt my mom would be so rude. She's not a rude woman. She's actually one of the sweetest women I know, and I resent the fact that you're trying to blame her for your horrible behavior towards her this afternoon.
How can you just believe her like that and disregard everything I have said? I'm your wife, Joe. I think I deserve a little bit of consideration when I tell you that your mom was the one who was the one being horrible.
That's just a lie. I don't appreciate you lying about my mom like that, Sophie. If this is how you're going to behave now that she's moved in with us, then we're definitely going to need a good talk to lay down some ground rules.
You know what? Yeah, sure. Let's have that talk. And we can include your mom, and we can all lay out some ground rules. We can also share out all of the chores.
What do you mean by that?
Well, now that there's going to be 3 of us in the house, there's going to be more mess, which means more work required to clean the mess up. I can't do it all by myself, especially considering that I'm working until 6 every night. So, I'll have to have help to get it all done.
But
That means you as well, Joe. You can start picking up some of the slack too.
I have work too, you know.
Yes, and so do I. So it's only fair if we even out the chores. And your mom can help as well now that she's living with us.
Fine, we can all talk about it when we get back.
Great. I look forward to it. Joe, you need to tell your mom that she needs to help out around the house more. I mean, have you seen the state of the house? It's a mess. There are dirty dishes everywhere, some with half-eaten food still in them. There's a constant smell of cigarette smoke. Your mom's dirty clothes are everywhere. I seriously can't live like this for much longer, Joe.
Well then, clean it up. If you hate the smell and mess so much, do something about it.
I would, but I've had to pick up extra shifts and overtime at work just so we can afford the increase in bills. I literally don't have time to clean up when I get back.
Well, that's convenient now, isn't it?
Joe, I won't be finishing work until 10 tonight. That means I won't be home until about 10:30, 11. I then have to get up at 6 a.m. to make sure I have time to get ready for work, which I need to be in for at 8 a.m. the following day. Where in that time frame am I supposed to clean the house? Huh? Or am I just not supposed to sleep, or eat, or have any time to myself?
Well then, maybe you shouldn't work so late.
I literally can't, Joe. Do you know how much the bills have increased monthly?
It can't be that much.
They're roughly 200 to 300 more.
What? How is that even possible?
I don't know. Ask your mother.
Well, you'll have to figure something out.
What?
Well, yeah, look, my mom is going through a really tough time, so I can't expect her to just start acting like a maid. She can't go around cleaning the house just because you want her to. She needs time to adjust and get over her husband. She can't do that if you're making her do all the housework and whatnot.
Fine then. You'll have to help out a bit more then. You'll have to do a bit more cleaning and tidying whilst I'm working overtime.
But I really don't want to do that. I mean, I'm the husband. I shouldn't have to do the housework. That's the wife's job.
Excuse you?
You heard me. Housework is for women. That's you. So you'll just have to figure something out in order to keep the house clean. We can't be living in such a pigsty.
What on earth has happened to you?
What do you mean?
Ever since your mom moved into the house, you have steadily become more lazy, more demanding of me, and much more demeaning towards me. It's ridiculous. I don't know what your mom is telling you, but whatever it is, you need to stop listening to her because she is completely wrong and outdated in her views.
My mom has just made it a bit more clear about who should do what in the house. You can't blame her for just straightening things out and just letting me know how things should be between a man and his wife. Obviously, you wouldn't tell me what should be happening as you just want to try and control everything. Well, that's not going to be happening any longer.
What on earth are you on about?
I'm the husband, and so you'll do what I tell you.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Well, whilst you contemplate the actual consequences of your actions, I'm going back to work. I've got things to do.
You can't just turn away from me, not like this. You're gonna stay and listen to me as I talk to you, and then you'll come home and do what I tell you to do.
Can I just ask you something?
What?
Is this how you're going to be from now on? This attitude of yours? Or will you go back to normal if your mom moves out?
Look, you might not like it, but this is the new me. My mom has opened my eyes to how things should be, so I'm not gonna be changing back into my old ways at all. Like it or not, this new me is who you'll have to get used to from now on. Oh, and we're not getting rid of my mom.
I see. Well then, I clearly have a lot of thinking to do.
What do you mean? Thinking about what? Sophie?
Sophie, You answer my son right now. You can't just start ignoring him. He's been trying to contact you for ages.
Well, I have work to do, along with a few other errands, so I don't have time to have a chat.
Husband is trying to talk to you, so you can't just ignore him.
I have nothing left to say to that man anymore, not since you've poisoned him against me.
Well, maybe you should have been a better wife then, huh? Maybe then he would actually see you as his wife.
Or maybe you should have minded your own business, left me, Joe, and our marriage alone, and lived on your own somewhere instead of coming to my house.
Maybe someone's moody that they didn't get their way, and that they've lost control of their husband.
Whatever, Delilah. I have important work to do, so I'm leaving.
What?
What?
I regret my decision to let you marry my son. Waste time. File for divorce immediately.
It's done. The divorce is finalized and you've moved out.
Huh? What are you on about?
Exactly what I just said. I filed for divorce. I might have jumped the gun saying that it's finalized, but it will be very soon. The judge will see the case soon enough and grant me the divorce. So, it's as good as finalized.
But why?
You're seriously asking me why? Have you seen how you and Joe have been treating me these last few weeks? You've both been utterly vile to me, demanding that I do all the chores, see to your every need, and basically become your slave when I'm at home. You two have literally pushed me to the point of breaking, and I don't want to live like that anymore. I asked Joe if he would kick you out of the house, and he said no. So, if that's the way he wants to be, then so be it. He can stick with you if that's his choice. I'm gone.
Well, fine then. We don't need you anyway. You were never good enough for my son anyway. He deserved so much better than you. Someone who would actually act like a wife is supposed to.
Uh-huh. That's great. Oh, but before I forget, I just need to tell you that you and Joe will have to move out of my house.
What? You're kidding, right?
Nope, I'm incredibly serious.
This house is my son's. You can't kick us out of it.
Actually, this house is mine.
What do you mean?
The lease of the house is in my name. I'm the one who pays the mortgage and all of the bills, so I get to decide who lives in my house and who doesn't. And obviously, I don't want you living in it anymore.
You can't do that.
Yes, I can actually.
But you're just the wife, not the man. The man owns all of the things, like the house and the car and stuff.
They might have done in the 1950s, but in the modern era, women can actually own things for themselves. Shocking, I know, but that's just how things are, I'm afraid.
What are me and Joe supposed to do now? Where are we supposed to go?
Well, as the man, I'm sure that Joe can sort something out, right? He will get you two a new place before you know it.
You know that he can't do that. He hasn't got the money. Besides, I don't want to live with just him. He's a slob, and I can't live in a house that looks like a dump.
Well then, maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to be completely horrible to me. Oh well though, it's not my problem, so I'm just going to let you deal with that. I've got more important things to do.
Like what?
Like actually having a day to relax by myself for once. It's been a long time since I've been able to actually sit back and relax, and I think I am definitely going to enjoy it. See you later, Delilah. Oh, and if you and Joe aren't out of my place by the time I get back, I'll call the police.
But no, you can't. This is my house, not yours.
See ya, Delilah. After getting the divorce, I really did kick Delilah and Joe out of my house. I was sad that I had to leave Joe, but he really had changed for the worse due to his mom, and I couldn't live in such a toxic environment any longer. Although, it was quite satisfying to kick them out and finally have a clean house to come home to again. After they left, I heard that Joe and his mom had to move into a tiny apartment, as they simply didn't have the money to buy a new house. But I guess that's karma when you honestly try to make life horrible for someone for no reason. As for me, I ended up selling my house and using the money to travel around a bit. It was something that I had always wanted to do, but never got around to due to marrying Joe. So far, my trip has been amazing, and I can't wait to see what life brings next.